Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with another live stream today, 7:30 p.m. Spain mainland time. And as we know, we're going to go through some of the stories that have caught my attention today, look at some of the comments that were left on videos previously, and in the second half of the video, we'll go into the chat section and check out what is happening there. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is put the like icon on the screen. So remember to hit the like button, please, just below the video. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally of likes today. And I'll also put this little icon on the screen here that if you are not a subscriber of the channel, please hit that subscribe button also just below. Now, we'll get straight into the news. The first article today, thousands stage anti-government protest in Madrid. Tens of thousands of people packed into central Madrid on Saturday against the left-wing government of Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez. The protest, called by dozens of right-leaning civil society groups and backed by the centre-right Popular Party and the far-right party Vox, came in a key election year for Spain. The central government said around 30,000 people gathered in Madrid's Cibeles Square, while organisers said some 700,000 people attended. The demonstrators waved Spanish flags, chanted "Sánchez resign" or "traitor" as they denounced the government. Lacking a parliamentary majority, Sánchez has been forced to negotiate with Catalan and Basque separatists to pass bills. The right was angered by the government's decision to abolish the crime of sedition, of which 9 separatist leaders were convicted over their role in the Catalonia region's failed independence bid in 2017. So thousands hitting the streets of Madrid yesterday, Saturday, 30,000 according to the government delegation, 700,000 according to organisers of the event. And let's be honest, there were not 700,000 people in the centre of Madrid yesterday. Maybe if you took everybody in the city and put them all together, you would find that amount. But at that particular protest, around 30, maybe even less, 30,000 or maybe even less, I should say, at that rally. And it's one of the problems that the right-wing side of politics has always had. They find it hard to get big groups of people to protest for their cause, unlike the left, who seem to get hundreds of thousands of people sometimes out onto the streets protesting. So, what did the government have to say about the protests yesterday? Sánchez being called a traitor, as we saw there, for getting into bed with independence parties, for example, Catalan independence parties, Basque independence parties. What did Mr. Sánchez say in reply? Well, he said that the protesters were defending a uniform and exclusive Spain. The president of the government and leader of the PSOE, Pedro Sánchez, has assured this Saturday that the participants in the demonstration held in Madrid against the policies of the government defend a uniform and exclusive Spain, and has compared them to the nostalgics who protested in Barcelona on Thursday during the Spanish-French summit. During an event in Valladolid, Sánchez said that the demonstrators in Barcelona defend a broken Spain, while the protagonists of the protest in Madrid want a uniform and therefore exclusive Spain. According to Sánchez, between the two is the majority of Spaniards who want a united Spain in coexistence that respects diversity and advances in rights and prosperity. So that was the point of view yesterday of the Prime Minister after the protests on Saturday in Madrid, saying that what they're calling for is a uniformed and exclusive Spain, and they want to take Spain back into the past, that nostalgic Spain, and that's what some of those far right-wing parties here in Spain do call for, to bring Spain back to what it was before, and they don't like the current government negotiating with, as I said before, these independence parties, people that they think a few years ago were trying to break the country. However, Mr. Sánchez has a different idea. He thinks it's better to sit down with these parties, try to negotiate with them, and to get everybody on the same page. But we'll see if that is the way to go when elections are held in this country at the end of the year, and we see who the great majority of people in this country vote for. Now, I'll put the little like icon back on the screen again. We're up to 46 likes. We'll see if we can hit 50 today. So if you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button below. And as I said, we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally. Third piece of news, why Spain is failing with youth unemployment and how to fix it. The labour market can get better or worse in Spain depending on how the economy performs, But what has rarely reached an acceptable state has been youth unemployment. The under-25s have great difficulty finding work in our country, some because they are overqualified and do not take into account which qualifications are most in demand, and others because they have hardly any training, and this is now essential in all sectors. In between, we find an insufficient group of young people who are turning to vocational training, VAT, a pathway which, if it were to be strengthened, could absorb many of these unemployed. We are talking about family and cultural reasons, the education system, employment policies, the lack of dual vocational training, a series of things that in Spain we have not done well as we thought, and that we need to improve. It will be costly, but all the current expenses are savings for the future, says Florentino Felgueroso, researcher at think tank FEDEA. So, youth unemployment. It has been an issue ever since I've been in this country. I got to Spain around 24 years ago. Youth unemployment was high back then. It hit a peak during the crisis in 2008, 2009 through to 2014. Huge youth unemployment figures, around close to 50%, if I remember correctly, and still a problem today. And one of the worst performing countries in the OECD is Spain when it comes to youth unemployment. And as we saw in that article there, family and cultural reasons, education system, employment policies, the lack of dual vocational training. But the idea would be, as that article there suggests, to get more young people, into vocational training. And as the father of a young man who is going to go into the system here in coming years, I am worried about the system or the statistics when it comes to youth unemployment, and the educational system leaves a little bit, not to say a lot, to be desired in my opinion. But anyway, that's just my opinion. If you've got an opinion on the topic, please in the chat section or in the comment section below, you can leave it. And the final piece of news today, we've gone through the news quite quickly, is this one here. Ice and snow to hit Spain on Monday. 11 autonomous communities are on alert. Snowfall in the eastern Cantabrian area and the north of the Iberian system and widespread frost will prevail this Monday, the 23rd of January, in practically all of Spain, according to forecasts by the state meteorological agency, the AEMET. In this way, 11 autonomous communities will have cold, wind, snow and swell alerts activated. Specifically, the provinces of Ávila, León, Palencia, Salamanca, Segovia, Soria, Zamora, Albacete, Cuenca, Guadalajara, Barcelona, Gerona, Tarragona, Madrid, Mallorca, Ibiza and Formentera and Navarra will be on yellow alert for temperatures of between -4 and -8 degrees Celsius, while Lérida and Huesca will be on orange alert for temperatures close to 10 below zero. So get your coats out, get your gloves out, get your scarves out, and get your beanies out this week in Spain with those sub-zero temperatures. And I must say that here in Madrid, very cold today, a very cold wind blowing, and I'm sure that when I get into the chat section, other people will have similar comments about the weather there, I am sure, because as we saw there, a lot of autonomous communities here in Spain, 11 out of the 17 activating weather alerts for this coming week. Now, we'll leave the news there. We'll go into the comment section, comments that were left on videos recently. This first one here from Steve-O. Graffiti is rife throughout the cities in the Mediterranean, which is strange because in northern European cities it has largely gone out of fashion. Graffiti removal is a good business to be in. It's not particularly difficult with modern chemicals and a power hose wash. And a similar comment here from Brian, totally agree with the comment on graffiti. Travelled quite a chunk of Spain in 2017, visited beautiful cities, horribly marred by graffiti, such a shame. Now this topic popped up, I think because of a video that I put out on Friday where I drove from one side of Madrid to the other, and there was graffiti on basically every public infrastructure that I went by in my car. Every wall, every bridge, every fence, basically everything that surrounds the main roads here in Madrid is covered in graffiti, and a problem as we saw there throughout Spain. Not difficult to get off according to Steve-O, but for some reason here, don't know what it is, the government doesn't clean graffiti off those main as I said, infrastructure, things like bridges and things like that, which when you drive around the city can be quite ugly. And there's only 3 or 4 different groups, I think, that are responsible for all of the graffiti. The same names are everywhere you go. One is Monge or Monge. You will see him or his tag everywhere you go. Another one is called Ron's Crew. They're all over the place as well. It's ugly graffiti. These people don't have much talent when it comes to graffiti, and they just leave their tags over everything. And as we saw, for some reason, it's not cleaned. It is cleaned maybe in municipal areas, I'm not sure, but you see it a little bit less. But when you get onto those main roads throughout the country that are controlled by the central government, nobody cleans it off. So it's a problem. And as Steve-O pointed out there, in other European countries it seems to be on the way out. But here in Spain, it just continues to be, graffiti just continues to cover everything basically that is in public sight. So it is a shame, but what can we do if nobody wants to clean it up? But as Steve-O also pointed out, it could be a good business. Let us know if the area where you are here in Spain also suffers from graffiti, or the roads leading into the place that you are in suffers from a serious graffiti problem. And let us know what the names of some of the graffiti artists are. Let us know. All right, good. Another comment. Let's have a look. This one here from David. How can the Balearic government prevent EU nationals from moving to and buying property in the islands? Surely the freedom to move within and live within the EU nation states is protected by EU law. Good question, David, and to be honest, I have absolutely no idea. But it is something, as we have mentioned on the channel over the last week or so, that the Balearic Islands government is planning to prohibit the sales of properties for or by non-residents. So as I have also said, it doesn't matter if you are a foreign resident or a Spanish national. If you're not a resident of the Balearic Islands, you won't be able to buy property there if that law gets passed. And when it comes to European law, I've got no idea. When it comes to even Spanish law, I've got no idea if it is possible, but it is something that the Balearic Islands is talking about. And as we know, I don't know whether Madrid would be in favour, because they do promote that golden visa system where if you spend enough money, you're able to get your hands on a lucrative visa to live in this country. And I think that's also been the issue in some other countries as well, maybe Canada that has something similar, and New Zealand in the past, as we have mentioned, has had a similar ban on property sales for non-residents. So we'll see if that one goes through. But yeah, interesting to see if the European Union would step in, or if the Spanish central government would step in regarding this possible, and I'll say possible, ban on property sales by non-residents in the Balearics in the future. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. Another comment here from Girlfriend of None. Good one, Stu. The magnetism of Malaga and Costa del Sol is crazy. The prices are rising ridiculously. You can basically get a 3-bedroom apartment in Alicante for the price of a small studio in Costa del Sol, and most months the apartments will be empty. After 2 years in Carihuela, Torremolinos, I'm absolutely moving up the coast, is Girlfriend of None. And this is also something that has been popping up on the channel recently, the popularity of places like Malaga with European digital nomads, people that are able to work remotely after the pandemic changed their working routines. They're no longer stuck to an office, so they pack their bags and their laptops and they go to places where the weather is better and the cost of living is cheaper, of course, than in those northern European cities. Malaga, down there on the Costa del Sol, although it's a little bit chilly this week, I believe, but generally you can get fairly good weather down there, and of course a lot better than the weather that you get in some of those German cities, Dutch cities, or cities in general north of the Pyrenees, or even north of half of the country here in Spain is quite chilly, as we know at the moment. So people flocking to places like the Costa del Sol looking for better weather when it comes to working, and of course being able to work remotely, but secondary effect, prices being pushed up, as we saw there in that comment. Another comment here from Axel. Stu, you are right that renting is getting hard, especially long term, but as a landlord for long-term rental outside Spain, I checked if I could do it in Spain as I live here, but the rules the government has put in place to protect tenants make it almost prohibitive. That would have to change. Kicking out short-term landlords by itself is not going to solve the issue. Again, related to the problem that we're talking about, holiday rentals pushing prices up, locals finding it very, very difficult to find long-term rentals in the Balearics and other coastal areas here in Spain that landlords prefer short-term rentals. And Axel pointing out there that the current government rent cap, which has been in place, I think, for a couple of years now, I could be wrong, but it's continuing this year as well, 2023, a cap on rent prices, meaning that landlords can't put their rents up according to CPI. And one of the many things that the government is trying to cap at the moment, or has capped, rent prices, food prices, other things that governments are trying to cap here. And apparently I read an article yesterday that it is having a negative effect on the rental market because less properties are going onto the rental market. People are not interested in renting long-term if there are rent caps in place. So again, a secondary effect of those rent caps. So thanks, Axel, for that one there, and pointing out that it's not easy because tenants are protected, and therefore a lot of landlords obviously choosing the short-term rental option, because I don't think that there is a rent cap or a price cap when it comes to short-term rentals. But again, I could be wrong. If I am, let me know. Now we're up to 93 likes. Good to see. I'll put the like button here again. We'll see if we can get over 100 today. Please, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. Now, I've got one more comment, then I'm going to go into the chat section and see what's happening there. We're up to 16-minute mark. One more comment here, or maybe the one or two, I'm not sure. I read Spanish hospitals are overflowing. Anything in mainstream media, says Paul. Obviously questioning mainstream media is Paul with this comment. And the answer to your question there, Paul, is yes. I have seen in the mainstream media here that hospitals in some parts of Spain are quite busy at the moment after that Christmas break, or at least they were busy. And I also read the other day that one of the hospitals here in Madrid that was built during the pandemic is going to be reopened, or it has been reopened, in order to deal with the excess cases of people that are suffering flus and colds and other respiratory problems, COVID as well, which hasn't gone away, people testing positive for COVID. But people in general with colds and flus this year, very problematic here in Spain. I saw it coming. I saw what was going on in Australia and New Zealand last year during their winter. Lots of people hit hard by colds and flus. And of course, here in Europe, south of Europe, no different this year, and hospitals are struggling, of course. And it doesn't help that in some autonomous communities here in Spain, doctors have been on strike. So a culmination of different things, but yes, it has made mainstream media, so don't worry about that. All right, now let me just see if I have forgotten a comment here quickly. I think I might have done, or I might not have done, because I did two at the beginning. So that's it for the news and comments today. Now I'm going to go into the chat section now, see what's going on there. Always plenty of activity. Let's have a look if we can find something that's going on here in the chat section. So first, cab off the ranks, Simon as normal. Windy Lanzarote today down there in the Canaries, says Simon. Shay coming in from Guadalajara, warm and sunny there. Killian coming in from Dublin, 9 degrees Celsius today, but going to be a shock for his parents who are due in from Malaga later this evening. Yes, no doubt it will be a shock getting back into Dublin after spending time in a warmer Costa del Sol, even though, as I said, this week I think even the Costa del Sol is going to be a little bit chilly, Killian, so they might not be missing much, your parents. Matt J. was first time in the chat, I think. First time in a while, says Matt. Always enjoys the live stream. Thank you very much, Matt. Glad to see that you enjoyed. I've changed the format a little bit. Some people will have noticed. I get the news and the comments out of the way, then I go into the chat section. Some people didn't like the immediate interaction with the chat section, so I save it to the end. But like many things, I think it's worth waiting for. D coming in from the Playa de Oliva in the Valencia region. Thanks for pointing that out, D. I didn't know where that was last week, but thanks for pointing that out, the Valencia region. Mugga, also in Dublin. Not in Spain anymore, Mugger. Okay, back in Dublin again. Erica coming in from a cold Terrassa, 6 degrees Celsius there. Cold weather also coming this week for Catalonia, Erica, so get your scarf out. Elaine coming in from Chatham, New Jersey. Curious to know how I knew I was getting a ticket while driving in the video. Did I see a cop? No, I didn't see a cop, Elaine. I saw a camera on the in the middle of the street, actually, and there were signs up warning me of that camera. But when I checked down and looked at the speedo, I was going over the speed limit. I think it was 40 in that area, maybe even 30 now, not sure. I was going around 45, 46 kilometers an hour, so I was a little bit over the speed limit, I think. So, but hopefully the speed camera won't have any film in it, like many cameras around the country. They don't have the facilities, they don't have the ability to record, and hopefully that was one of them. They're just put up there as a way to stop people from speeding. Preventative measures, I think they are, and they don't actually contain a machine to check if you're speeding or not, but I'll wait and see if I get a notice in the mail. Barbara coming in from a cold Playa Flamenca. Grant coming in from Asturias, sol y frío. Also here, Grant, so similar weather, no doubt. Madrid, as I mentioned before, cold today and windy. John showing up for another live stream. Also pointing out that a lot of people watch the rerun and they count too. I'm aware of that, John. Thank you very much. But good to see you here. Yeah, the live streams normally get around 4,500, 5,000 views before they drop off in popularity. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Torrox, 11 degrees today, chilly. Alan coming in from San Diego still. Janet coming in from Oxford. Lots of regular viewers. Daryl coming in as well. Valeria, hey Stu, hey all. Iggy coming in from a cold and chilly Jaén down there in the south of Spain. Yes, a cold region is Jaén this time of the year, I believe. Hot summers, cold winters. Remy coming in from Sant Feliu, strong winds, cold. Gino, also hoping that everyone is well. Ken coming in from Greater Manchester. Stan coming in from Poland. So lots of activity in the chat section. And as many people pointing out, cold everywhere at the moment, and Spain no exception. And very cold conditions coming this week. Now I'm going to change the backdrop while I remember. This one here was sent in by Chris, and it's a place in Malaga called Rio Gordo. I think it's inland, not sure exactly where it is in Malaga. And as we can see there, a nice rainbow over the green hills of the Malaga mountains there. So thank you very much for sending that one in there. I'll just see if I can remember the name there. Chris, thank you very much, Chris, for sending that one in. And if you have a similar image that you would like to see on the backdrop here on my green screen, the address is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Send them in there, and I will get around to showing it, providing that it is the correct size. So remember the landscape size if you can, like this one here, a nice wide landscape shot, rather than the Instagram shot, which is a different size image. So to give you an idea, if you take a photo with your phone, hold it this way rather than that way, and therefore the backdrop pictures can be put up here in the right size. Thanks for that. All right, good. Now, like button back on the screen again. We're up to 125 likes, surprising today. Hit it, please, if you haven't done so, just below the video, and we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally. Let us know your opinion on some of those stories that I mentioned before when it comes to the political protests that are going on at the moment, the difference in crowd numbers. Someone saying 30,000, someone else saying 700,000. So somebody obviously can't count. So a bit surprising there. But as I said, there was no way there were 700,000 people at that rally yesterday. Alan coming in from a cold South London. Ricardo coming in from South London also. Can't be bothered about this weather. So I haven't gone out today. Can't wait to get back to Spain later on in the year. In most of Spain, Ricardo, also cold and windy, unfortunately. Simon saying that Valencia, it's been a lovely day, saying hello to everyone. So there we go, maybe one of the only parts of the country that had decent weather today. Valencia, according to Simon. What else we got going on here? Alan coming in. Hola Eduardo, democracy being questioned all around the world? Question mark, I suppose so. Yeah, we can see what's happening in different countries at the moment. No need to go into the finer details, but we all know what's going on. I think it's just a cycle that we're going through, Alan. Hopefully we'll get out of it soon. What else we've got going on? Dave, St. Pete to Madrid. Dave, coming in from St. Pete today. Dave, of course, taking a winter break and heading back to sunny Tampa Bay there in Florida and getting out of the cold weather that we're experiencing here. 1, 2, 3, Sean away. Hello from Ireland. What else we got going on here? Michael giving his 20 cents worth. Suggests balancing the political and economic news with a bit of current events that might be of interest to all. I can send you a few examples later for your consideration. Please, Michael, send them through. I'll put the email address back up again if you missed it before, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Send them through, your ideas, and we'll see if we can get them on. Thanks for that. What else we got going on here? Chris coming in from Alora in the sunny, what else? Valle del Sol, well, as the name suggests, Chris, Valle del Sol, the sunny valley. Brian coming in from a cold La Marina. A dog needs a coat now when going for a walk. Yeah, somebody told me that I should buy a coat for the dog for little Mia, but I haven't got around to getting one yet. She doesn't seem to mind the cold. We go for fairly long walks, so she gets quite warm during the walk, I imagine. What else we got going on? Tarazona today, 4 degrees there, also quite cold. Says professionally and about, I think that is. What else we got going on here? Lots of chat today. Let's see if I can find my way through. Cold in Península, but not freezing. The general trend around the country, of course. Alan saying the Costa del Ski rather than the Costa del Sol. What else we got going on here? Eric is saying that there might be another reason for high youth unemployment. I should have retired in March, but have gone on working for at least another year. To be honest, I'm blocking the entrance to youngsters. Maybe that is another problem, Erica, that people like yourself holding on for another year. Should have retired a year ago, but continuing to work and blocking the entrance to a younger person. That could be one of the reasons, Erica. I'm not sure, but I'm sure that the problems with youth unemployment here in Spain go beyond the one that you mentioned there. I think it's a structural problem, and we saw before there are family reasons behind it as well. People go to university, get a degree, and they don't really think about getting a job afterwards. They're just interested in getting a degree at university. There was one case in the same article of somebody who studied something that is completely irrelevant to today's labour market, and he's been unemployed for 4 or 5 years, so that's part of the problem as well. And a reluctance of young people to go into vocational training. I think that's also a cultural thing here in Spain, or at least it was when I first arrived. Not sure whether families are seeing the benefits of vocational training for their children, but it's definitely an option that a lot of people should look at, I think. All right, what else got going on here? Barcelona, Old Town was covered in graffiti. Yes, Madrid also had its graffiti problems, but they tend to clean it off. Like I said before, when it's a municipal problem, the municipal cleaners tend to get out and get it off the walls of buildings and things like that. But on the infrastructure around cities, the roads and the bridges and those panels on the side of the motorways, absolutely covered with graffiti, and as I mentioned before, ugly graffiti. It's by no way attractive. Okay, Daryl adding to the conversation. They seem to only remove provocative political graffiti in Barcelona. That could be one of the reasons, Daryl. Yeah, provocative political graffiti, and I'm sure in Barcelona there's a lot of provocative political graffiti, given the political situation in that part of the country. Rosemary coming in from Hertfordshire. Cold, but the log fire makes the house toasty. I've noticed here where I live there seems to be a more and more people turning to log fires. You can sort of smell the wood burning in the mornings. So people getting off natural gas and going for the old chimenea, as they call it here in Spain. Definitely, as I said, definitely you can smell that in the mornings, the wood burning fires. Do I think there's a link between the youth unemployment and graffiti? I've got no idea, to be honest. There could be. But I'm not sure how old the graffiti artists are, to be honest, whether they fall under that 25 age bracket, 16 to 25, which is the youth unemployment the youth. When it comes to unemployment, that's the age bracket. Not sure when it comes to graffiti, to be honest. I've never actually met, and there's not a lot of focus in the news here when it comes to graffiti. It doesn't seem to be an issue. So people just accept it, I would say. Graffiti is vandalism, simple as that. Thanks, Chris, for that opinion. Alan saying Costa del Graffiti. There's another one there. Thanks for that, Alan. What else got going on here? Andrew coming in from Sub-Zero London. Very cold there today. Alan adding to the graffiti debate. In London, we have a hotline to ring, usually a council who will remove it with water and eco-friendly chemicals. As I said, Alan, when it comes to local councils, they tend to get on to graffiti removal, but the central government on their public infrastructure does not. So it's one of those things that I think falls into a bit of a blind area. Nobody seems to know who's responsible for it, so it doesn't get cleaned off. And even when it does get cleaned, or if somebody does make the effort to clean it off, it's back the next day or the day after. All right, what else got going on here quickly? Let's have a look if I can find something here. Frigiliana coming in as well down there near Malaga. Malaga is the Frigiliana is close to Nerja, I think, almost on the border there with Granada, if I'm not mistaken. Ignace saying that saw a new development plan on North Madrid was approved by all parties there. Costs a lot and quite expensive. Yeah, I think that's true, Ignace. The development of the northern part of the city where the train lines are around the Chamartin station going north, I think that's what it's called. And it has been finally approved, and no doubt the developers have the plans already up and running, and lots of business parks and flats and apartments to be built in that area. And apparently it's going to be a new green corridor in the northern part of the city of Madrid. So we'll see, but it's been talked about for a long time now. But as you mentioned there, it looks as though it has been finally approved. All right, good. What else we got going on here? Bill saying that in the Murcia coastal area, I was surprised to see a couple of graffiti guys who were definitely in their late 30s or 40s. There we go. They're not young, quite artistic, but on a private wall. Yeah, I think we have to distinguish between some type of artistic value in graffiti and the one that you mentioned here, Bill, and just the general writing somebody's name in big letters on a bridge. I think we have to distinguish between the two. Some graffiti artists obviously quite talented, but the graffiti that I see, not much talent needed, I don't think. Valera asking the question, do you think it will snow in Madrid? The mountains behind the airport are blanketed in snow. Spectacular views today, but cold in Madrid, but still sunny, which makes it feel warmer. Absolutely. If you can find a place in the sun out of the wind, you do get some relief from the cold weather, absolutely. And the mountains to the north of Madrid covered in snow, of course, because it started snowing there last Wednesday. And I think it continued over the last few days. But Madrid, the capital city, I don't think snow is forecast for Madrid. I don't think, Valeria, but I could be wrong. Shangyan coming in from Ballarat down there in country Victoria, Australia. Hello, Shangyan. Hope all is well down there. Hope the floods have gone. That was a problem before Christmas. Hopefully it has gone. We've got a super sticker from Richard. Apparently it's a pear character bowing and saying thank you. I've got the mental image of what that is, but I can't see the images here. But thank you very much, £10 from Richard there. Thank you very much for your generosity. Everything is appreciated when it comes to channel support. Thank you very much. Ronnie coming in from Benihoffard. Cold there. Barbara, gather that's very hot in Perth at the moment. Yeah, well, it's in the middle of summer there, Barbara, so I think it has been quite warm recently. My mother always saying that it's in the mid to high 30s, but it hasn't been as hot as some other years when it normally cracks the 40 mark at this time of the year, but fairly typical, I think, for Perth. It's a hot, windy city in the summer months. But if you like going to the beach and that type of weather, absolutely fantastic is the weather in Perth generally. Hey from Canada, Bahan Alpha 4, asking me how I work on my Spanish now that I live here. You mean the language side of the thing? I think it just becomes part of your day-to-day. My son speaks Spanish, my partner speaks Spanish, everybody I know speaks Spanish. Just becomes part of your day. Don't really need to work on it so much. It's just a question of being involved in the day-to-day here in Spain. And Spanish language is everywhere you go. So you pick it up very, very quickly, or you improve very, very quickly when you are here, of course, if you get in and about the language, of course. Now, I'm going to change the backdrop here quickly. This one was sent in from Glyn. Now, he didn't say where it is in Spain, so I've got no idea, but it's also a mountain with snow on top, a snow-capped mountain, but not sure if this place is in Andalusia somewhere, maybe the Canary Islands. I've got no idea where this one is, so if anybody knows, it could be Granada. But if anybody knows, please let us know in the chat section. But anyway, thanks, Glyn, for sending it in. And if you're watching, Glyn, let us know where it is. Cold and snow in Missouri at the moment. Elaine also asking about the ticket. Do you get points against your license? Not sure, Elaine, if you're doing those municipal cameras. I know that you do if it's like on a main road, you get points taken out if you get caught speeding. And tickets, if you pay them in the first 90 days or something, you get a 50% reduction. So that's what I'll do if I do get a ticket, Elaine. But hopefully, as I said before, there was no actual camera inside the box. I'm hoping that is the case. Kurt coming in from 79 degrees Fahrenheit in Cape Coral, Florida. What else we got going on here? Nice and sunny in La Manga. Down there also in Murcia, I think. La Manga de Mar Menor. And here we go. T also confirming what I just said. Pay your traffic tickets in Spain as soon as possible and you get a 50% discount. Absolutely, that is the idea. Traffic tickets, speeding, parking, anything related to traffic. Pay them quickly and get a discount. Don't pay them, and you'll get your bank account. They'll get deducted from your bank account eventually, I think. All right, what else we got going on here? Asking a question here is what are the prices of rent for metro or rural? Not sure where you're talking about there. Let us know, and I can maybe give you an answer. But if you're talking about a big city like Madrid, for example, you can be paying anything from 800 to 2,000 euros a month for a decent property nowadays. Santa Pola, bit nippy down there, says Cellini. What else got going on here? Like the new format, Stu, got to keep it fresh. Absolutely, Alan. You've got to keep it as fresh as possible. It also keeps me interested because, as I was working up to this live stream, I was a little bit tired today, let's say. A little bit, my siesta went a little bit longer than usual, and I lacked a bit of energy. Here's the dog's poking her head up here, wanting to say hello to everybody. I think she wants to go for a walk, which is why she's popped up here now. Can I say hello to everybody here, Mia? Eh? No, all right, you just stay there. Be careful with my mouse here, Mia. I'll just put you down there. Otherwise, I'll hit the mouse and we don't know what will happen. Shangin saying that we embrace graffiti in Malasaña. Well, it depends on what type of graffiti it is, of course. If it's ugly tags, I don't know whether you embrace that or whether it's artistic design graffiti, which you quite often get on some of those shops in that part of Madrid. Thank you very much. What else we got going on here? Well, let's have a look if I can find something here quickly before we finish. We're up to the 39-minute mark, so I'm going to be finishing shortly. Matt talking about education here in the States. We've been pushing college over vocational training, but the pendulum seems to be swinging back the other way a bit recently. In reality, we need a happy medium. Absolutely. You don't want too many people going to university. You don't want too many people going into vocational training. You need to find the balance between the two. But what you don't need are people studying 4 or 5 years at university, something that's not going to be able to get them a job when they leave university, which is often the case. Unfortunately, a lot of people here in Spain, what I've seen, and it could be a problem in other parts of the world as well, but people study things and they automatically think that they're going to be working in that when they finish their degree. And what I found when I went through university was that if you study something like history or politics or one of those arts-based subjects, you don't think that you're going to become a historian or a politician or go into political science, teaching or any way, shape or form. You just try to get a job doing something else, something that will pay the bills. But a lot of people here that study history expect that they're going to be historians when they finish. I think they are going down the wrong path, but that's just been my experience over the years, talking to different people. What else we got going on here? Shangyan is pointing out where Malasaña is in Madrid, the center of the Movimiento Madrileño. Yeah, that was 40 years ago. Absolutely. Gentrified working class barrio in Madrid. All right, it's a nice way to sum it up. It's just north of the Gran Via, if anybody knows Madrid City, north of Gran Via. What else we got going on here? Portrait is the size, apparently. No, sorry, wrong one here. Alan, the one I'm looking for. Portrait size is the picture. Portrait or landscape, I think, Alan. Not quite sure, but thanks for that. La Palma, says Alan, maybe the picture. Not sure. Don't think it is. I don't think you get snow in La Palma, so I don't think that is the case, Alan. Looks like Granada, says Pam. I think so, Pam. It could be somewhere down there, maybe Granada. Yeah, it looks like Granada, says Valeria. So there we go. I think we've agreed that is the place. But we'll see if Glyn gets back to us and can confirm exactly where the picture is. Now I'm up to the 42-minute mark. I'm going to start to wrap the live stream up. Thank you very much for your participation today in the chat section. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much to the super chat that came through before. Thank you very much to the person that just gave the video a dislike. Thank you very much for wasting your time and watching the video. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much to the 162 people that did give the video a thumbs up. Greatly appreciated. I'll be back in the live stream format again on Tuesday. Most likely a regular video out tomorrow. Maybe if it's not too chilly, I can sit outside again because I'm enjoying those outside videos, and I hope you are too. But again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for participating in the chat. I'll see you guys again on Tuesday in the live stream format. Hasta luego. Adios. Bye-bye.